I'm just waiting for the day when I feel less fear, and then I'm gonna do it, Becca. Hello, gals, and welcome to Sober Living Snippets, where we live alcohol-free so we can heal those relationships, feel youthful again, and ditch regret and shame. I'm Becca Jacobson, and it is the beginning of a brand new week of snippets. And I'm super excited because it's Monday, and that means we're continuing our look at Susan Jeff classic little book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. We started this book last Monday, and we're going to continue going through 5 Mondays. So goody, goody. That's what we get to look forward to on Mondays for the next little while. Chapters 1 and 2, last Monday. If you didn't catch it, go ahead and look back, and I'm not going to go through them again. So today, we're looking at chapters 2 and 3. Chapter 2, called Can't You Make It Go Away? You know, this is so important to those of us struggling with alcohol because we are waiting for the day we feel like we have the courage to quit drinking. We're waiting for the day that all our ducks are lined up, like everything's right. You know, Mercury's no longer in retrograde. The stars are aligned. The gods are in their heaven. Everything's in order. And now I can finally turn my attention to my drinking and quit. That's what we're waiting for. We're also waiting to feel confident that we can succeed. We are waiting to feel ready. Right? And of course we're waiting to feel ready. It's a big change in our lives, and we need to feel ready. But there's only one big problem, gals. That day will never, never come. And this is why we hear about people who quit drinking after hitting a quote-unquote bottom. Because they were waiting, and instead, the universe or God comes along and puts in our path a situation so horrible that we finally go, well, I'm not ready, but this is really bad. I got to do something about this. Now, for some of us, this is worse than others. I mean, there are people out there who have killed others in their vehicles, who have destroyed their health. Come on, we're not going to wait for that, are we? In my case, it was an 8-day blackout that led to me almost losing a 15-year career as a college professor. I kept waiting to feel like I could quit drinking. And while I was waiting, I was praying, please help me to quit drinking. And I prayed and prayed and prayed. And so the answer to my prayers was, okay, no problem, Becca. We'll just slip you right into an 8-day blackout. Your secret will be out because everyone at the college will know, or at least your superiors will know. Your students will know. And that is how that prayer is answered. So if you're praying for help to quit drinking, hold on to your horses, because God or the universe or whoever you want to call it answers that prayer by putting us in a very painful situation. I'm not kidding. That's a fact. So be careful. You will get what you asked for, but it won't come the way we expect it. I'm kind of off on a separate snippet, but it's all relevant to what Jeffers is saying in the second chapter and throughout her book. If we're waiting for the fear to subside, we are never going to do the thing we want to do. In chapter 2, Jeffers gives us 5 truths. 5 truths. And that's what we're going to go through together today. The 5 truths about fear according to Susan Jeffers, PhD. Truth number 1, we just talked about it. Truth number 1, the fear will never go away as long as I continue to grow. Now, what she's talking about here is everything in life, not just alcohol. The point she's making here is that whatever we are wanting to do in life, if there's fear behind it, the only way to make it go away is to actually take action, feel the fear, and do it anyway. But when she says the fear will never go away as long as I continue to grow, what she means is that as long as you are taking action in your life, as long as you're growing, you're not stagnating, there will be fear around it. And so for us, the first fear we have to feel and act on anyway is giving up alcohol. But then guess what? There's more fears behind that one. After you give up alcohol, you want to continue growing. That's what we do in Snippet Land, right? We don't do fluff and we don't stagnate. We talked last week about the 3 phases of life, and you're only in one of 3 phases. You're either stagnating, transitioning, or growing. And here in Snippet Land, I'm doing everything in my power to keep you out of that stagnation phase. And so as long as you are either transitioning from one phase to another or in the growing phase itself, you're going to feel fear. So I hate to break it to you, but pushing through the fear to quit drinking is just the first fear. There's more waiting for you. So the best thing we can do, now I'm giving away Jeffers' whole theory in the book, is just get used to feeling fear. I mean, that's really the answer, okay? I let the cat out of the bag. Spoiler alert. The answer to fear is get used to feeling fear. And you actually do. I do scary stuff all the time. And after a while, you're like, oh, that's just fear. Oh, well, you take a deep breath and on you go. Okay, so that's truth number one about fear, according to Susan Jeffers, with a little bit of Becca mixed in there. Number two, the only way to get rid of fear of doing something is to go out and do it. I think I just said that, didn't I? Of course, once we do something, that particular fear fades away. And it does. Maybe not by just doing it once. We have to wait. We have to push through. We have to get used to it. Fear after fear after fear will drop out of your life as you feel that fear and take action anyway. According to Susan Jeffers, the only way to feel better about myself is to go out and do it. So here she's saying, if you're not feeling great about yourself, and who does? If you're still drinking, I know you don't feel great about yourself. If you're worried because I'm fearful, when am I ever going to feel like I can actually take this on? The only way to get rid of that feeling is to do it. Like, the news might not sound great, but I'm telling you, this makes life very exciting when we decide, I'm just going to do it. What can happen? I'll tell you what could happen. Your life can get better. The reason I'm so passionate about this, gals, is there's only one reason why women don't choose to work with me. And trust me, there are women who choose not to work with me. And there's only one reason. That's right, fear. So I talk to women all the time, and some of them will say, wow, yeah, I really need your help. I'm definitely in a bad place. I definitely need to quit drinking. My health is getting worse. This is wrong, that's wrong. And we talk about it, and yes, I totally need to do this. And then at the end of our conversation, many of them say, but I'll get back to you. I'll let you know when, because today's not the day, Becca. Right? I'm not laughing at you, gals. I'm laughing with you because that was me. That was me. I had many, many opportunities. Remember, I didn't quit drinking till I was 52. So trust me, I wanted to for years before that. Years. And even though someone gave me this book in 1998, it still wasn't enough. I read this book in 1998 and I was drinking and I wanted to quit drinking and I just still couldn't push through the fear. So if you're not able to feel the fear and do it anyway, I understand that. I really do. And I'm here. And I will remain here until the day comes when you can, because the day will come. It will. If your day is not today or not this week or not this month, that's okay. That's okay. Your day will come. The only risk we have, of course, of waiting is that something horrible really could happen. In my case, luckily, I didn't kill anyone. Hey, I admit it. I drove my car after drinking many, many times. Luckily, I never killed anyone or myself. And many other horrible things could have happened. But let me tell you, an 8-day blackout was bad enough. So the risk that we run is that something horrible can happen. And I don't want something horrible to happen to you. So while I'm not judging and I understand why you're waiting, I do want you to remember that you're running a high risk of something happening in your life. Even if, I was just going to say, okay, can you believe this? I was just going to say, even if it's just your health. Oh my God, what a thing to say. Do you really want to risk your health? Like, that's another game that alcohol plays with us. Well, it's only my liver. They say the liver will rejuvenate. I'll go get some dandelion tea and it'll be fine. No, it's your health. But we do it. That was me. Okay. All right. Back to Ms. Jeffers. The fourth truth about fear, according to her, is not only am I going to experience fear whenever I'm on unfamiliar territory, but so is everyone else. Well, yeah, right? That's exactly what we talk about around here. The whole reason that I'm spewing all this out into the world and not keeping it to myself is because I want you to know that you are not alone. The feelings that you have are common. We all experience the same thing. And that's one of the most powerful things about joining a program with other women our age. We just look around the room and realize, wow, everybody feels the same. Okay, the fifth truth about fear, according to Susan Jeffers, is pushing through fear is less frightening than living with the underlying fear that comes from a feeling of helplessness. It really is. Living with this fear is torture. And you've lived with it a long time already, and you've survived it. So think about that. Pushing through the fear is going to be less painful than living with it has been. Because we do have an underlying feeling of helplessness. Every minute that we continue to drink against our will is a feeling of helplessness. And yet, quitting and getting help is a moment in time that passes, and then very quickly we start feeling better. So that is chapter 2, and Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. We are going to continue with chapter 3. This chapter is called From Pain to Power, and the key that Jeffers is delivering in this chapter is a chart that we can use in order to see how we can use our language differently in order to affect the subconscious. But before we get to the chart, here's a quote from the opening of chapter 3. Jeffers says, "If everybody feels fear when approaching something totally new in life, yet so many are out there doing it despite the fear, then we must conclude that fear is not the problem." Isn't that interesting? It's actually true, because so many people just feel the fear and do it, feel the fear and do it. As I said earlier, I feel fear all the time, and I just do it. So it's not fear now that I understand that. By the way, I wasn't like that all my life. You get used to it, right? So if fear is not the real problem, then what is the real problem? Let's have a look. What does Jeffers tell us about that? She says it's not the fear itself, but how we hold the fear. Some people can just feel fear and go, oh, that's fear. Okay, I'll take a deep breath and move on. Others feel fear and they're paralyzed. So then the question becomes, how can you move from someone who is paralyzed by fear to someone who is able to breathe through it? Well, practice, of course. Practice. Absolutely. So to help us understand this concept, Jeffers gives us the pain to power chart. And I'm going to give you some of the examples. I'm not going to read the whole chart. And she tells us how to use the chart. So she advises that we print the chart, put it on our wall, and keep track of where we're at on the scale in the chart. So on this chart, there's on the left side of the scale is pain, and on the right side is power. Our goal being moving from pain to power. So here's the list. The first one, when we're in pain or fear, we say, I can't. The goal would be to move to I won't. I'm not going to say much about that one, because the truth is that's a snippet that I have coming up for you. But just a little taste of what's to come. I want you to know that I removed I can't, the word can't, from my vocabulary a long time ago. If I'm not going to do something, I always say I won't. And that's a snippet that you can look forward to very soon, my dears. But anyway, on the pain side is also I should. On the power side, I could. You can see how this works, right? On the pain side, it's not my fault. On the power side, I'm totally responsible. Well, heck, we talk about that all the time, don't we? That's one of the foundational mindset shifts we take here in Snippet Land. We take responsibility for our drinking. We don't blame it on anyone. Another pain phrase is, life's a struggle. And she suggests we change that to life's an adventure. Another one, I hope, should be changed to I know. I like that one. I know I will succeed. And one more from the chart. I'm not touching all of them, but you get the idea. Another one from the chart is it's terrible. And we move from that to it's a learning experience. This reminds me of about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago here on the Snippets, we did a whole week of vocabulary. This is Jeffers' version of vocabulary. How we speak, of course, is very, very important. During our vocabulary week, I had us changing words like I'm stressed to I'm challenged. So it's the similar idea, isn't it? And as I said, I've got coming up for you another vocabulary snippet on the word can't. It must be removed, and I'm going to talk to you about that soon. So that is chapters 3. And before we close today, I want to also point out that on page 35 in my Kindle edition, you'll have to find it on your own. It is in chapter 3. Jeffers gives us a cute little drawing on how to move outside your comfort zone. And I kind of like this. You put in the center your comfort zone, and then you can draw circles around it and see if you can move yourself from the center of the circle in your comfort zone to the outside of the circle where you're getting farther and farther away from your center of comfort. Because why? Because this builds our courage and helps us to get used to the feeling of fear. It really is all about being willing to take uncomfortable action. And I'm here to tell you, gals, that sober living, when you're used to depending on alcohol, does require courage. It does require us to take uncomfortable action. But oh my God, it's so worth it. Because if there's one thing we know for sure, we are living our lives. And we've wasted so much of our time not living our lives, sitting inside our comfort zone, letting fear run our lives. So from Susan Jeffers and from Becca and all the other amazing women who have chosen the sober living life, we are here to say, be brave, my dear, feel the fear, and do it anyways. And if you'd like even more support from Snippetland, I encourage you to go to the show notes of this episode and give me your email. Sign up for my Sober Living letters. These are supplements to the snippets where you'll be hearing from me. I deliver guides, I invite you to free events. I do not deliver garbage. I do not deliver spam. So if you want more from Snippetland, sign up for the Sober Living letters, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back tomorrow so we can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.